It's already Friday. This week has been going so fast. It's incredible. Well, it was a shorter week. We had a Monday off. The kids were home on Monday. So it has been going really, really fast. And I've been so busy preparing for the masterclass next week and for a program that I'm recording. So really exciting times. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Chiara. I'm a certified executive coach. And today I would like to share with you three things that are not great to say to your remote team members. And instead, what else you could say? What else you say? As usual, I forget this thing. So let me plug it in. There you go. La bella della diretta, we would say in Italian. So before we dive in, I was mentioning at the beginning, we have a masterclass organized next week, April 14th at 3 p.m. CET, Central European Time. And this masterclass is about the key steps you want to apply to take to reach any goal in your life. I'm a time management and productivity geek. I love that. And so I'm really, really excited to bring to you those learnings and those, the things, the tips that can really make a difference in how you're dealing with your goals and how you're dealing with achieving your goals. So really, really exciting. To be able to reserve your seat, you got to go to vault.chiaracopone.com/masterclass April 14. You're going to find the link in the description box. So go right there. There's a few spots still available. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing you next week there. So now let's talk about these three things that I think could be a little bit misunderstood when you're dealing with your remote team. So the first thing is about saying ASAP, ASAP. And I know we are very used to use those ASAP. I used it a lot in the past. I probably sometimes also use it still today. But you gotta think about that you're not in an environment where your coworkers might be in the same mindset with you. They might be stressed, and urgent, something that feels pressing, might be misunderstood, and you might create tension and miscommunication in a thing that doesn't necessarily doesn't help you. So what could you do instead? What could you say instead of ASAP? You could be much more open and much more in a coach style manner. You could ask, is this deadline reasonable? How are you doing with the things with your workload? Do you think you could make this deadline? And also be very compassionate and empathetic about understanding what trade-offs will you need to make so that you can deliver this by this time. So being understanding what will you have to give up in terms of what you had already planned to do instead of this thing that now comes urgently in. So really open up the conversation. And also you can offer asking the questions, what could I take off your plate so that you can focus on this thing instead, right? Could you delegate? Would you either take off yourself, or you could brainstorm with your coworker? Is there somebody else you could delegate this task? You could see if you can push it forward, and if you don't have the time to push, if you don't have the opportunity to push it forward, then could somebody else take it on your behalf? So this was really the first thing. Let's stay away from words like ASAP, urgent, immediate, pay attention, things, alarm, that we want to trigger. We could still have the same result, but really with a much smoother, much more empathetic approach to that. The other thing, and I talked about this in a live last week or maybe the week before, I don't remember, but it's about one of those words, right? Like a should, must, Smog type of acronym. You should do Y, X, and Z, right? This giving this heaviness, this heavy task to somebody. Because should is always starting from this place of scarcity, of lack, right? I don't have that, so I should do that, right? Think about how that sentence feels in your body when I particularly if we're saying to ourselves, but even more so if somebody tells you if I tell, my coworkers, my partners, or whoever, you should do that, you immediately feel like, oh yes, I'm not doing it. I'm not good enough. I'm not doing that enough. So that word should has so much load, that we want to be staying away from it. And instead, you could really be, again, much more open, asking questions. What's your opinion on how to move forward on this? What do you think is the best way to approach this? Or what advice would you give me if you were in my position, right? So really being much more asking open-ended questions versus being so strict and judging, and you should do this. You should do Y and Z. Because also, and I talked about this in my podcast before, I woke up to this realization that giving advice is so overrated. If I tell you what to do, there's very good chance that you're not going to do what you do, because you're coming from a different background, because you have a different set of beliefs, because also you might not feel comfortable in doing that. So just asking for advice often is really a bit pointless. And instead, we want to be open up to believing in ourselves way more and asking questions. What do you think you should do here? Sorry, not should, but what do you think would be the best thing, to move the best way forward? Or, what is the best approach here? What are the different options we have here, in a much more open-ended and not judgmental manner? And then the third thing is, instead of saying, these are your goals, I was having this conversation actually with my partner the other day about sometimes, we are very strict with our coworkers, and we want to give them a help, but we think that by giving our subordinates, our team members, goals, we make their life easier. And the reality is that you're taking away the power from them. People are responsible. We're all adults in the workplace, right? So we all want to be taking ownership of our own goals. So instead of saying, here, these are the goals that you should be achieving, obtaining this year, give them the opportunity to write their own goals. What goals would you get excited about achieving? What do you want the team to accomplish? What can we aim for so that we will be proud of this quarter, this half year, this year? Really giving the ball to the people. Give them the responsibility. This is the direction we're going. Give them the vision, but then let them take ownership of their goals for them to be wanting and get excited to achieve. What kind of work would makes you feel energized and excited and really think like, I'm glad I did that. I'm glad I took the time to put the effort in achieving this. Giving that, because also you're giving the opportunity for space and trust. They can do it, and you are there much more as an enabler rather than as a manager, as a micromanager that just wants to control. In a nice way. It doesn't mean that you're not doing it with a good intention, but the result is that you're taking away the power of them, and you're not letting them grow. You're not letting them taking risks for themselves. So I hope this was helpful and interesting and inspiring. And so just before we wrap up, if you have not already, go and reserve your spot for this free masterclass. It's going to be an hour between 3 p.m. CET and 4 p.m. CET on Wednesday, April 14. And if you can't attend because the time doesn't work for you, go still and register, because you're going to be having access then to the recording, so you're not going to be missing out completely on the opportunity to get these tools on how to achieve your goals, the 3 steps that really will get you going and become much more self-aware and really give you the tips to achieve more. Not in an advice manner, so you can expect me much more in an open-ended, adaptive way. So I'm really, really excited to offer you this masterclass. So go to vault.chiaracarone.com/masterclass April 14. The link is going to be in the description box. And I wish you a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.